Hey there, my friends. I have not done too many YouTube lives, but I do one hell of a lot of TikTok lives. So, listen, I don't know if you guys, can you guys interact with me? How do you interact with me? Chat. There's a chat, but I can't seem to open the chat. All right. Well, I guess I'm just going to chat myself today. So you're just going to have to listen, I guess. I got to do a little bit more investigating on this, and nobody's here yet anyway. So let me see. How do I do chat? Discard changes. Okay. Oh, I got one person. I don't know who's here because I can't see anybody. I'm not sure where I see you guys. So hello, welcome to Answers About Alzheimer's. Where's the freaking chat? Ah! No, that's not it. I'm so sorry for whoever you one person is here because I wanted to answer questions. Oh, now we got 10 people. All right. Well, you know what? I guess this first round is just going to be kind of winging it. So thanks for joining me. I'm Debra Costu, dementia expert. I wanted to answer your questions today, but apparently I'm not sure how to get you guys to interact with me. If anybody sees a chat and can chat something, I see a chat box down here, but it's not highlighted. And I would love to interact with you guys. But listen, I know that people are struggling out there with dementia, and that's why I'm here. I think the first thing that we should maybe talk about is I have a lot of free great things for you on my website, free downloads, free resources for you. I've just downloaded a few new ones. My favorite is called What Triggers Me. It looks like this. And this is a free PDF for you at answersabout.alz.org, which I did put in the description. So you can certainly get access to that. But I think today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about behaviors and reactions, because everybody I know, everybody who teaches dementia, they teach about how to correct behaviors. And I don't teach that. I don't believe in that. I don't, I teach differently. So what I teach is that a behavior is what you're outwardly seeing the person, what they're doing, right? They're yelling, they're screaming, they're swearing, they're calling you the N-word, whatever the hell it is, right? That's a behavior. The person is behaving in a certain way that we want that behavior to go away, right? But what's happening is the reason the person is having a behavior, because there's always a reason why they're having a behavior. It's really a reaction to something else. They're reacting to something that is unpleasant, unfamiliar, that they're having a problem, right? They're not giving you a problem, they're having a problem. So if we can figure out what that problem is that they're having and we can solve that, then we're not going to have the behavior anymore. I keep forgetting, I really don't want to swear on this, but I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok, but I go live on TikTok pretty much every single day. So if you really want to be able to interact with me, find me on TikTok. And I just found somebody chatted me. Thank you so much. Hi, thanks for helping us understand Alzheimer's. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And I appreciate the chat. So now I know that the chat is working. I can't seem to figure out how to reply to your chats. I got another one. My issue is not with my Alzheimer's residents. I have an issue with the uninformed, uneducated family members. Ooh, yeah. That is a big problem. So I can tell you, Melissa, a good way to kind of handle that is, because I had this problem with my home care agency too. Same thing. And you kind of wonder, how can I talk to the family without coming off like a know-it-all or pissing them off because you want to tell them that they're doing everything wrong? Am I right? So here's what you can do. Hi, Lucinda. You can actually maybe pull them aside and say, hey, even if it's a fib, right? Kind of like fibbing to a person with dementia. Hey, you know what? I just took this class and I learned this, and I thought maybe it might be helpful to you. Do you want me to share this information with you? So first, if you ask permission, would you like me to share this information with you? Would you like to hear what I learned? Then they're going to be more receptive to it. So you can pull them aside and say something like, hey, Mrs. Jones, you know what? I just took this training class and it was so cool. And I learned some really cool tips. And I think you might be able to relate to this. Would you like to hear what I learned? And then they're going to be much, much more accepting of it. So new timeout links. You can now put people on timeout. Oh, okay. So glad my notifications were on. Yes. So listen, you guys, I swear, I go live on TikTok almost every night. And I know I put up a big fight about TikTok. I really did. But holy crap, I'm going to tell you, we have so much fun on TikTok. Huge group. Interact, talk. And I go live pretty much every single night, usually between 7 and 8 o'clock. And I'm usually on for like an hour or two. Yeah, we get really in depth. But I have a brand new PDF for you guys. It's called What Triggers Me. This is available on my website, answersabout.alz.org. This is phenomenal. This is a really good tool. Like when you're starting to stress out and have a really shitty day, take a minute at this and just look at it, read a few of these, and it'll kind of put things back into perspective for you. So listen, I want to talk about behaviors versus reactions because in my course, I teach people, I don't like to use the word behaviors. It's really a reaction to something. So your person with dementia is having a reaction. They're having a problem. And it's kind of like, I use this analogy of a bee sting, right? So let's say your person is in the other room, or a child, whoever, it doesn't even matter. It could be a stranger in the grocery store, right? And all of a sudden you hear them yell, ah, they're screaming, right? So you run in the other room and all you heard was the screaming. That's all you heard was the screaming. So you're thinking, oh my God, will you just stop screaming? But what we missed was they got stung by a bee. They got stung by a bee. And that's why they screamed. So we have to think about that in every situation with our person with dementia. What's the reason behind the reaction that they're having? Because there's a reason. They're not just behaving poorly. They're not just being a jerk. They're not just yelling, screaming, flipping out, resisting, yelling at you, copying an attitude. They're not doing that for no reason. And the reason is they're having a reaction. They're having a problem with something else. And if we can figure that out, then we're going to have success and get rid of the behaviors or the reactions, right? And we can either eliminate them altogether or we'll be able to solve their problem so that they don't continue to be acting in a way that we don't want them to act. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Put it in the chat if that makes sense to you. So, you know, I'm going to start doing a few more of these lives on YouTube because I'm a little concerned that maybe TikTok might be disappearing. And I'm doing an awful lot on TikTok these days. So how about we go over what the warning signs are? Would you like to guys go over the warning signs of Alzheimer's and dementia? Actually, of Alzheimer's disease. That's one of my pet peeves. Are you guys still there? Are you still there? Tell me that you're still here. So I'm sorry I keep looking down there, actually down there, because that's where the chat box is. I wish I could move it up. Top chat, is that going to work? Top chat? No, it didn't do anything. Learn more. I don't want to learn more. I just want to keep going. Maureen's in the house. Melissa's in the house, still here. Okay. Maureen says no. Maureen, you don't want to learn about the warning signs? What would you like to learn about? You tell me. You tell me. I'll do whatever you guys want. Is there something in particular you want to learn about? Because I'm here for you. Listen, dementia is like DEFCON 5, right? Dementia is DEFCON 5. So I want to relieve that burden for you, which in turn you will relieve the burden of suffering for your person with dementia. Because the reason I got into this in the first place was because I wanted to relieve the burden of suffering for the person with dementia. But in order for me to do that, I have to get to you, the caregiver. So that's why I teach the caregivers. So I hope you guys are subscribed, because if you're not, you need to subscribe. Do you guys want to do the 11 warning signs? So one of the 11, most people teach 10, but I teach 11. I've added my own addition, and it's going to be the new standard. Or we could maybe do warning signs, we could do stages, we could talk about some problems. I'm not really seeing anybody asking any particular questions, because if you do, maybe we could do that. Sundowning. What are you interested in? What are you interested? I want to learn about how much it will take out of me to be nice, to be the nice one. I want to learn about how much it will take out of me to be the nice one. Oh, Lucinda, that's a really good question, and I have an answer for you, because you probably know I teach a course. If you follow me, you know I teach a course. It's 4 days, once a week for 4 weeks. It's a phenomenal course. It'll be the only course you ever need ever again. But during the course, the way I teach and what I teach you is going to take you naturally through a whole new empathy process, where you won't have to force it anymore. You will naturally become way more empathetic, just from the training that you receive. It'll blow you away, because it is hard to be nice sometimes, right? It's hard. It's frustrating. This disease is debilitating for everybody. It's extremely difficult, but it doesn't have to be. The only thing you're lacking is skills. That's all it is. You're just lacking skills. You're lacking tools, techniques, and scripts, right? I'm very script based, which is why my program gets results. In most cases, after the first class, you'll see a change and you'll see a difference. Maybe I didn't completely understand your question then, Lucinda. Lucinda, that's a very pretty name. You don't hear that very often. Do you guys want to hear about a particular type of dementia? Can an escalation in hoarding be a warning sign of Alzheimer's? Yeah, because that could fall under a couple of different warning signs. It could fall under like executive functioning and steps, and poor judgment, right? Poor judgment skills. So they're not like keeping clean, neat house. It can also mean that tasks are too difficult and overwhelming for them. It could also mean that they're having problems with organization and spatial relationships. So I would say yes. I would say yes, that could definitely fall under some of those categories, for sure. Can I talk about FTD? Yes, FTD is frontotemporal dementia. It's the one that Wendy Williams and Bruce Willis have both been recently diagnosed with. The average lifespan for frontotemporal dementia after a diagnosis is approximately 7 to 13 years. So it's kind of on the shorter side. And this is where the frontal, which is here, and the parietal lobes of the brain are affected. So we have 2 frontal lobes. Did you know that? 2 frontal lobes and 2 temporal lobes. And the important thing to think about when this part of the brain is affected, and this is really cool because I go over this in the course too. We talk about the different lobes of the brain and what they do, but I teach it a little differently. What I do is I teach you what those different, not only just what those different parts of the brain do and function, but what it would be like if you lost those abilities, which is really, really eye-opening. But so the frontal lobe of the brain, I don't know if any of you have heard of Phineas Gage, but he was the one who was very instrumental in the beginning of neurology, because it was back in the 1800s, and he was tapping a metal rod into some rock with like dynamite or something to blow it up. He was working on the railroad, and and it exploded. And this like 4-foot long, 2.5-inch rod went right through his eye and came out like almost the top of his head. So it went right through his frontal lobe. And what happened was before the accident, and he lived. I mean, this is insane how he lived. He had to take an ox cart into town to get medical treatment. And he ended up with like several infections, and it was really bad. But he's only had one eye after that. And so what happened was they found out that the different parts of the brain were responsible for different things, because after he had this accident, he became a very different person. Like all his personality traits changed, and he became very inappropriate and rude and very distasteful, right? And so that's when neurology was kind of born, and they realized that the frontal lobe of the brain was responsible for our personality traits. So it was really, really interesting. He couldn't go back to work. He ended up doing like side jobs with almost like with a circus, and he would go around with his rod and show people his rod. But it was very fascinating. So anyway, frontotemporal dementia, when the frontal lobe is affected by the brain or affected by dementia, what happens is that's where our personality traits are stored. It's where our self-image and our self-awareness is located. So when that part's damaged and we don't have self-awareness, we might cross lines and do things that we would never normally do or say. We also don't understand the feelings of others. So we lack empathy and understanding. We may react very differently to a situation. Like maybe you give them a gift and they're kind of like, they don't really show any emotion from the gift. Or maybe there's a very sad situation, they start laughing. Or maybe there's a funny situation, they start crying. So they can have problems with regulating and showing their emotions, and they may be the inappropriate emotions. The other thing that's really, really devastating for frontotemporal dementia, and very hard for caregivers and family caregivers in particular, is that people with FTD, they can get very, very inappropriate sexually. So they may like disrobe in public, fondle themselves, masturbate. They may get heightened sexual desires. So this can be really, really, really tough for family members and for family caregivers, and even in community settings, right? So if Joe's in the middle of the dining room and he starts masturbating, it's very inappropriate. But we have to be careful, and we have to remember that it's due to the brain damage to the frontal lobe. So does that answer your question about talking a little bit about FTD? Zena, thanks so much for your question. I love it when you guys interact with me. Where are you guys watching from? Where are you guys watching from? So, let's see. Do you guys want to hear about anosognosia and denial? Would you like to do warning signs? Ontario, Canada, right across the pond from me. I love Canada. I have taught many people my course in Canada, and my mentor is in Canada. He's in Vancouver. I love Vancouver. Oh my God. Vancouver. Belleville, Ontario. Is that California? Straight across. Yep. That's awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. It's so funny because I keep looking at how many people are on here. And usually when I'm on TikTok, there's like a couple hundred. So I see 11 and I'm like, Hey, from Maine. You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to go to Maine and do one of those moose watches where you go to the pond or the lake at dusk and at dawn and watch the moose. I've always wanted to do that. South Africa. Oh my God, I have not been there yet. I've been to Egypt in Africa, but I haven't been to South Africa. Some of my family members have been, and they love it. They absolutely love it. All right, so I would love to continue some education for you guys. Is there something in particular that you'd like to do, like warning signs or stages, or talk about different dementias? My dad wanted to move to Maine. Oh, wow. Wow. Huh. Lucinda's in Maine. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. We've got about 12 people in here. So brand new on the website, 11 warning signs. The 11th one is my edition. You're welcome. But the 11 warning signs, this is brand new on the website, answersabout.alz.org, and you go to the free resources tab and you can download this for free. And there's a lot of other things there as well. But this is brand new, brand spanking new. And then I also have what triggers me. This is really cool. This is brand new. Can you briefly describe the stages? Okay, sure. I'll try to keep it brief. You know, I kind of get away as a talking, but tucked away. I'm living right next to my in-laws. I'm caring for them. Mom has Alzheimer's at age 87, stage 6. Dad is 90 and not having empathy for mom. Yeah, that's a tough one. So I don't know if he's willing, but what I would recommend to you, because I have had especially older men taking care of their wives, have reached out to me after this and said, oh my God, I had no idea. So very eye-opening. Get him a copy of the book. It's a super easy read. It's large print. It's super easy. I would highly recommend that you get this to him. I have a note over here from a gentleman, an older gentleman. He said, the incredible thing is your book has helped me immeasurably, and I'm only on page 18. I am an ignorant husband, and I've made every single mistake you write about. The great news is that I will now deal with my wife as you advise. And it goes on. So I would highly recommend this. It's available on Amazon or anywhere you like to order books. Forget me not. So tucked away, get him a copy of this, and just ask him to just start reading a little bit of it, and he'll end up loving it. He'll end up reading the whole thing, and this will help. So let me know when it does. Okay, let me know. All right, so the stages, I think it was the stages, right? Was it stages? Yes, stages. All right, so let's do the stages, and I'll try to keep it brief. I'm not really good at brief, but you're welcome. Tucked away. It has a 30-day money-back guarantee, but I promise you'll love it. All right, so the stages. Now, I want to be very clear, because these stages are for Alzheimer's disease. They're not for other dementias. And I think that this is where I find personally where I think some trainers or educators kind of forget to make that clear, because it has to be clear which dementia we're talking about, because other dementias don't have stages, right? Except for Lewy body can sort of have stages, but none of the other dementias have stages. This is Alzheimer's disease specific. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. These are not dementia stages. These are Alzheimer's disease stages. Okay. Are we clear? Are we clear? Okay. All right. So stage 1, there's no symptoms. There's nothing. So I don't even know why they call it a stage, because you wouldn't even know that you have dementia. You're not diagnosable. So stage 1 is nothing. No symptoms, no concern, no nothing. But the brain is having changes, because when I first learned about dementia almost 20 years ago, the Alzheimer's Association was teaching at the time that there are brain changes and cell death with Alzheimer's disease approximately 10 years prior to symptoms. Now that number is 20 to 30 years prior. 20 to 30 years prior to noticing symptoms, we're having cell death. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. The other dementias, the most common, because there's over 100 different types, but the most common are Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal, Parkinson's, vascular, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, CTE, I'm cheating. Korsakoff, which is the alcohol-induced, Those are really the main ones. Those are the main ones. So, so the next stage is age-associated memory impairment. So age-associated memory impairment is when it's normal aging. So it's when somebody over the age of 60, 65 is experiencing normal aging, normal brain changes that they would see within their own peer group. It's nothing to be concerned about. It's just normal forgetfulness associated with age. So that's stage 2. Stage 3 is called MCI, or mild cognitive impairment. And this is when a person with dementia is going to have a little bit more memory issues than those in their age group or their peers. So they're going to have a little bit more problem. Doctors do diagnose mild cognitive impairment. Personally, I think MCI is very, very hard to diagnose. Between you and me, I think it's almost impossible to diagnose mild cognitive impairment, but whatever. So that's stage 3. Now, the important thing to remember about mild cognitive impairment, because usually if people get a diagnosis of MCI, they're like freaking out because they're like, oh my God, I have dementia. And that is not true. Only 10 to 15% of people with MCI, or mild cognitive impairment, go on to develop full-blown dementia. So it really, really, really is not something to be concerned about, but I'm sure we probably will be. Lewy body can have stages somewhat, but that's the only other dementia other than Alzheimer's that can sort of have stages, and they're not the same. The stages are not the same between Alzheimer's and Lewy body. I actually have a YouTube video on stages of Lewy body. So if you're interested in that, Diane, be sure to look that one up, okay? Because it's a good one. It's a good video. It's one of my favorites. Honestly, you guys, my older videos are my favorites. So just saying. All right. So stage 4. Stage 4 is when the person they're going to start having problems completing tasks, right? Their cognition and their memory issues are going to start kind of throwing a wrench in their day. It's going to start disrupting their daily routines. They may have problems with like really big menus. They're probably going to start struggling with their finances, having problems with the calendar. This person is still really independent, and they're going to start probably like withdrawing from social activities and stuff like that. They're starting to notice that there's something wrong. They're not happy about it. They and they're going to start withdrawing. They also may be in denial or have anosognosia, which if you want to talk about that later, we can talk about that. And stage 4 is when you can actually get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. So stage 4 is when you can actually get a diagnosis. You're welcome, Diane. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. So again, you guys, I'm just going to pause super quick because there's a few more people in here. If you're not following me on TikTok, and I know I put in my heels about TikTok for the longest time, but I'm going to tell you, I go live almost every single night on TikTok for like at least an hour. We have so much fun. Oh my God. Very interactive. We chat, we talk, I answer tons of questions. So you might want to do that. But anyway, all right. So stage 5. Stage 5 is when the person may not be changing their clothes regularly, right? They're staying in that same outfit. They may be easily scammed. They might be wearing the inappropriate clothing for the weather. So they're starting to have problems with the weather conditions, AM, PM, right? They might put their clothes on backwards or in the wrong order. This is the stage where they might be starting to get anger, aggression, suspicious of others, accusations of stealing and things like that, right? Finances. This person may not know their address, or if they recite their address, it might be a past address. They can't count backwards from 20 by 2s in stage 5. So stage 5, we're really having some struggles with stage 5, right? Stage 6, they're going to need help with dressing, assistance with bathing and handling the water temperature and all the hygiene stuff like brushing their teeth and shaving and they're not able to really do that anymore. They still know their own name, but they might not be recognizing other people, especially grandchildren, right? And maybe their own children. Usually they still know their own spouse at this time, probably incontinent, and they can't count from 10 backwards by ones. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. They can't do that. They can't do that. They may be really fidgety. They might be fidgeting with things. They might be pacing. They might be reorganizing things and having outbursts. And they're afraid to be alone. They're afraid to be alone at this point. So fear, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? When you come back, they're shadowing you, right? So stage 6 is really tough. This person needs a lot of assistance, if not 24/7 supervision. There's safety concerns, big time. Stage 5, 6, big time safety concerns. And number 7, stage number 7, is this person is going to be relying on somebody else to survive, for basic survival. They can't sit up, they can't hold their head up, they can't walk, they can't feed themselves, they can't toilet themselves, they can't bathe themselves. They have very, very limited vocabulary. So some doctors will go as far as to take stage 6 and 7 and break those down into 6A and B, 7A and B. So when you're at the end of stage 7 or even the middle of stage 7, they may have no verbs, no verbiage at all, no language skills, or very, very limited to a few words like help, 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 or nurse, 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 right? Something like that. So very, very, very limited vocabulary at stage 7. And how they actually die from Alzheimer's disease or another dementia, depending, is if they die from the disease, because oftentimes they actually end up passing away from a sub-condition like sepsis, an infection, pneumonia from aspiration, heart disease. You know, a lot of times they end up passing away from something else. But if they actually die from dementia, the brain stops sending the signals to the heart and the lungs. So it stops sending the signals to those vital organs and they just stop. They just cease. Usually the person is pretty malnourished by now anyway, and they're pretty much ready to pass on. At what stage do they need to stop driving? Well, Ebert, I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. That's kind of a tough one, and everybody's a little different. But the driving thing is, you know, when they're not safe, I mean, for sure, that's when you've got to do something drastic. But if they've been getting lost, take a look at the car. Is there damage around the car? Maybe ask them to take you for a drive and see how they're doing, right? But people fluctuate in between these stages. So we don't want to get real dead set on the stages. Some doctors don't even want to talk about stages with family members, but because people will fluctuate between like up to 3 stages at any given time, and they can kind of go back and forth and back and forth. So things like you can't put a number on when it's time to stop driving, right? That's more of on an individual basis. But what I will tell you is I have 2 videos on taking the car keys away and driving and safety. 2 of them, they're really, really, really good. So I would recommend that you look those up and watch those. All right. Who else has a question? Let's see. What do you want to tackle? What do you want to tackle? So listen, you guys, I know this shit's hard. Dementia is hard, really hard. And I can relieve this burden for you. If you take the course, literally, you got to give me 4 days, 5 to 6 hours each day, once a week for 4 weeks, 5 to 6 hours each day. And I can give you all the tools, the scripts, everything that you need to get through this disease. All you have to do is book a call on my website. We'll talk about it, find out if it's the right move for you or not, because it's not for everybody. I don't accept everybody into the program. You have to be accepted into the program. But it can relieve your problems easily in a snap. When to tell it's time to prepare for a change, like moving to another place. So like moving to a senior living community, right, Lucinda? When it's time to not be able to live at home anymore. You're welcome. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, and again, I do have a really good video on that as well on YouTube, but when is it time to move? So, you know, safety has to be the number one issue here. If they're not safe to be at home, if you can't afford 24/7 care, which most people can't, it's very expensive. Or have people move in and live with them or whatever, because that's an awful big commitment as well. Then it's time to move. So if they're not safe, and you know, you can kind of ask them questions without quizzing them and upsetting them, obviously, but hey, mom, like, what would you do in the event of an emergency? Oh, I'd call you. Oh, you'd call me. Okay, well, is that really a good answer? Probably not. House is burning down. You're going to call me. Like, that's not a good idea. Hey, I have to fill out this form. What is your address? And see if they know their address. Can they call 911? Can they call 911 and recite their address? Can they get out of the house safely? If there was, can they get out quickly and safely? Maybe not. Have they wandered off before? Have they left the stove on? Have they done anything dangerous in the past? I mean, even just cooking with big sleeves on, they could catch themselves on fire. I had a client catch himself on fire and he died. It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. They could walk out into traffic, get hit by a car, walk into a pond. You know why people with dementia drowned? Do you know why people with dementia drown? Because it's pretty common. They walk out and they see the reflection and they don't realize it's water, and they walk out into the water. And then they can't figure out how to get out. They forget how to swim. They can't figure out which way to get out, and they die. They drown. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Is it stage 5 or 6, or is it individual? What, for when they need to move, Lucinda? It really depends on the person, right? And not everybody has to move. Like if they have the means, if they have the support, they can stay home until they die. Many people do. And in my home care business, we've been very, very successful in keeping people home. But sometimes it's a matter of finances, right? Or maybe they don't have the family support that's willing or able to do that. So it really depends on the individual person. Yeah, it's very individual. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. All right. What else you guys want to know? I just shot a couple more videos. And I was sitting here, I was all dressed up, and I'm like, okay. I have 2 more calls with families this afternoon. I had one she had to cancel because she was sick. But mostly how I spend my day is talking to family members about either the course or a one-on-one coaching to solve their problems for them. So that's mostly what I do all day. I sit on the phone. Good. I'm glad it helps, Lucinda, because that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And I also don't want people to fall victims like my mother did. Do you guys want to learn about anosognosia? Are you guys on TikTok? Oh, here I go, yawning already, and it's only 2:30 in the afternoon. That's bad, because I've got calls, I think, until like 7 o'clock. Oh, I actually can use my phone. Where's my calendar? Oh, look at that. Till 7:30 tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, come on. What do you want me to teach you? What do you want to hear about? Because I'm here for you. I'm here for you. By the way, I have a 100% success rate with hallucinations. Any of you guys want to be certified master dementia strategists? You want to know about anosognosia? What do you want to talk about? If you're done, I'll head on over to TikTok. It's okay. But I'm here for you guys. I want to do what you guys want. Dun, 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 dun. Crickets, 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 crickets. So listen, head over to answersabout.alz.org. Get your free downloads. In South Africa, we have little care homes where Alzheimer's patients are accepted. Oh, wow. It is very expensive as well. Yes, if you can even find one. Yeah. I've heard. Yes, we have the same thing here. So in the States, it used to be you would go to a nursing home when you started having memory problems, but then the memory care units started opening up. And most of them are private pay out of pocket. You can't use insurance to pay for them. There's very few that you can. So the memory care piece is private pay because the nursing homes don't want you. They don't want you because they're too hard. They're too hard. They're wandering. There's, too short staffed, and it's just, they're a pain in the ass basically. And the nursing homes don't want to deal with those behaviors and the wandering. And, are they going to be safe if they wander out the door and something happens, we're going to get sued. So they want you to go to these specialized locked memory units. But the problem with most of the memory care units, they don't have the proper training. So it's basically just you're paying for a locked door, basically, which I think is a shame. My sister has lost the desire or need to eat. What should be done? All right, Donna, this can be a lot of different things, and I'll try to kind of touch a little bit on all of it, but this is a very, very complicated issue. This is like a course level thing that I offer in my course, but Donna, here's the thing. So it could be several things. The first one, depending on if she's really in those late stages, like stage 7, the brain stops signaling hunger to the stomach. So they're not hungry anymore. And this is actually the body's natural progression, right? The body's starting to shut down. They'll start losing weight before they pass away. So it could be that. If she's not at that stage yet, that very, very late stage, it could also be that as we age, our taste buds change. And the ones that stay intact the longest, I hate to say it, is our sweet tooth and our sweet taste buds. So they often want things that are sugary or taste like sweets. And that's okay. Just let them freaking eat the sweets. My opinion, again, right? The other thing is that it can be too overwhelming for her. The task is just too overwhelming. So you have to think about silverware is very complicated. So move to finger foods. You can't have a plate full of food. It's too overwhelming. When a person with dementia is overwhelmed, they will shut down and you're not going to get anywhere. Zero results. And this is about results, right? So just put a teeny tiny bit of food on that plate, let them eat it, try a little bit more, see if they eat it. Another really great idea, and I usually reserve this for my course, but since there's only 12 of you here, I will share it with you. A red plate. Get her a red plate. And make sure they can see the food. Contrasting. So I'll give you an example. See this red against the white? It's very contrast. They can see it. If you give them mashed potatoes on a white plate, they can't see it. The vision deficits for someone with dementia is way, way, way complicated. And I go very in depth in that in my course. But you got to make sure that they can actually see the food on the plate and that they can see the plate on the table. Okay. So less food on the plate, a red plate. You can also psych her up. This is one of my favorites. So let me just pretend that your sister's name is Linda. Ooh, Linda, I'm making your favorite later. Ooh, I'm making your favorite. You've been bugging me. Ooh, I'm finally making your favorite, right? Oh, it's a surprise. I'm not going to tell you. So psych her up. Psych, 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 and then present. Okay. Small portions. Small portions. Also get rid of any distractions you possibly can. Turn the TV off, close the blinds, turn anything noisy off, right? Make it a nice quiet environment so they can concentrate on what they're doing. Maybe play some soft music, candles, like make it an event, a celebration. Okay. Donna, lots of great ideas there. What are you going to try? What are you going to try, Donna? I hope you're still here. I hope Donna's chatting away. I hope she's putting it in there saying, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I hope you're writing notes. Donna, are you related to the Marriotts? The Marriotts? There's a Marriott in Cayman. Really nice. Really nice. Oh, I saw a heart going up there. Oh, more hearts. I didn't know you guys could do that on YouTube. Everything good, Donna, because listen, Donna, you're the perfect person for my course. Because when people say to me, oh, I don't know if I'm going to try that or that, they're not getting into my course because nothing will work unless you try it, right? Nothing will work. And we got to get results. We got to get results. And in order to get results, if something isn't working, if you're looking for results, it means your shit ain't working. So, so in order to get it working again, we have to try different things. And it's so funny because I remember long ago, I used to watch Dr. Phil when I had more time on my hands, but long time ago. I feel like I grew up with Dr. Phil, but he used to say, how's that working for you? How's that working for you? And I kind of started thinking about that sentence. And, you know, if things aren't working, then you have to change something because otherwise you're not going to get any results. Donna, do you know what stage your person is in? First of all, do they have Alzheimer's disease? Because if they don't, then it's stupid to even ask what stage because stages are just specifically for Alzheimer's. But Donna, what type of dementia? How long have they been diagnosed? And if I have a little more information, maybe I can help you out a little bit more. Yeah. Have I really been live for 46 minutes? That's insane. Not diagnosed as Alzheimer's yet. Okay. So, Donna, do you think she's more like the beginning, middle, or late? Because if she's late, you'd know it. Like she would be incontinent, bedridden, can't feed herself, any of that stuff. Because Donna, the course might be something that makes sense for you. Are you the main caregiver? Her husband died of Alzheimer's. Okay. Does extreme stress cause dementia? Yes. So prolonged anxiety or depression is a risk factor. Absolutely. Donna, is this like your mom or who's the relationship? Are you the main caregiver? Do you live with this person? Whew, I'm getting warm now. Hot flash. Oh, Sue. I noticed that my mom is starting to spend more time in bed. Is this normal? Yes. So, Sue, they tend to withdraw from social activities. They tend to withdraw from everything. And you know why that is? Because they know that they're doing shit wrong and they feel horrible about themselves. This is like a self-esteem issue. They don't want to be called out on it. They're afraid that people are going to notice things. It's important for us to build their self-esteem and create an environment where they're not failing all the time, because in their brain, they're like, I'm failing. I'm a screw up. I'm a loser. I'm going to stay away from everybody. I'm safe if I'm in here in my little cocoon, right? So it's up to us to get them going. Keep getting interrupted by ads. Oh, shit. You know what? I think that was a setting that I blew by. I'll fix that next time. Actually, I wonder if I can fix it right now. Live ad settings. All right, hang on. All right, I don't think I can do it while I'm live, but next time I'll try to take care of that. I'm sorry about that. Lucinda, how about modern medications? So Lucinda, great question. Lucinda, I don't get into the medications. I also do very little with the diagnosing. And that's because my expertise is behaviors, communications, sundowning, validation techniques, right? That's my specialty. I am not a doctor. I don't like to get into the meds, and different people react differently to medications. So I send people, I direct people to their doctor for those questions. Doctors come to me for my training. So I really stay in my lane. Can Alzheimer's be cured? No, it's a progressive degenerative disease of the brain and is fatal. What's your website? Oh, the website is answersaboutalz.org. Answersaboutalz.org. And it should be literally on any of my longer videos. Should have it in the description. Should also be in my bio. So Donna, if you want to learn about the course, which I would highly recommend that you do, go to answersaboutalz.org, and then in the top right corner, there's a big white button that says book a call. And we would just have a conversation either on Zoom or on the phone, and we would talk about your problems and what's going on, and we would decide if the course is the right decision for you, or maybe one of my mini courses, or the book. You know, the book might be all you need, $20. But you would book a call on the website, and then we would go from there. Okay? Because I want to make sure it's the right decision, you know, and I don't accept everybody into the course. I don't, because the course is guaranteed. It's the only dementia course with a guarantee. Okay. Anybody else have questions, or is it time to sign off? You guys let me know. You guys let me know if there's any more questions. You're welcome, Donna. I hope we chat. I hope we chat soon. I pretty much spend my whole day on the phone with families. Today was kind of an odd day. I had a few cancellations. There's something going around. People are like getting sick. So my calls are all like later tonight. So I thought I would do a live because I might not be able to do one later tonight. Oh God, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting really hungry. I might have to hop off and go grab something to eat. Does anybody else have another question before we decide to wrap it up for today? I'm so glad you guys joined me. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please share the channel with other people and let them know. And listen, guys, seriously, get on TikTok. I know a lot of people from YouTube don't like TikTok, and I didn't either, but I'm going to tell you, that's where it's happening. That's where it's happening. I go live almost every single night on TikTok. It's so much fun. Oh my God, we have a ball. Maria, do you have a question? Go ahead, pop it in there if you have a question. I'm ready. Don't hesitate, man. Just throw it out there. Answersaboutalz.org, 11 warning signs, free PDF for you. And what triggers me? This is my newest. This is one of my favorites. What triggers me? Both available in the free resources tab at answersaboutalz.org. Right here. Maria, do you have a question, my friend? Maybe if I take a couple of big swigs of this coffee, I won't be so hungry. Starving. I guess it is about that. It's 3 o'clock. God, I can't believe it's already 3 o'clock. All right, here's Maria. My mom passed away from dementia, and my mother-in-law. How are the changes of my kids the chances of my kids getting it. It depends on the dementia. It depends, Maria, on what type of dementia. So if it's Alzheimer's disease, hereditary is just a small piece, very small piece. If it's, there's one dementia that is a lot higher chance of being hereditary. I'm trying to remember which one it is. If several family members, God, I just went through this the other day. Which one is it? But Alzheimer's disease, no, not a big risk factor. Several family members are diagnosed. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of the less common ones. It's either, it's not Lewy body. I think it's either FTD or Parkinson's, and I can't remember which one. But it's hereditary is not a really huge risk factor. Okay, so don't stress over that. Don't stress over that. My hair is like sticking into my jacket. I got this jacket on vacation. You can't really see it, but it's got these really pretty like flowers down at the bottom of it. They passed away 11 days apart. Wow. Oh my God. Maria, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. That's devastating. That's absolutely devastating. I'm so sorry to hear that. All right, you guys, I think I'm gonna sign off for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And head on over to answersabout.alz.org, especially if you're interested in the course and relieving that burden of suffering for yourself and the person with dementia. This is the only dementia course that has a guarantee. If you need results, it's results based. It's the only course that is going to give you over 250 exact scripts of what to say and not to say to a person with dementia. Like, this is what you use when you're in front of your person to get them to do what you need them to do. So, bunch of flowers. Oh, that's very sweet, Lucinda. Very, very sweet. I'm so glad that we spent this time together. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. I hope to see you again. Like I said, I'm usually on TikTok because I go on TikTok and I get 200 people on there at any given moment. Of course, this is an odd time of day. I probably should try it after dinner on YouTube, but that's usually where I do my lives. We do interaction. We have a lot of fun. We do challenges on there. I give weekly challenges to my people on TikTok for them to try new things with their person with dementia. So it's a lot of fun. So follow me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I'm all over the place. And I hope to see you soon, because together we can do anything. We can accomplish anything when we work together. So, guys, thanks again for spending your afternoon with me. It was great to talk to all of you, and I hope to see you again real soon.